Nas, Rirish. As ta tanda tavidim korla tanda jibde so ke jam sang tiri jarjong sirta shikshia shawla so tate shea tal kirtani aso dari tenje topa nal dan zapa kali songan zapa choi te an de ni chen ki pa indeli sangye chi tan chu ze chi yorete sangye zapa nan zapa yakshurte songan zapa tere se sonda sangye chi tan chi ko an til che go re songre tanga so lo jong che ko za te sangye songan zapa tere de yore songan zapa zona so so pen thona ti tokhari ma to sangye kangun nga chun chi to ayo mara kor kapta te son che yo marta sangye ze ayo mar ke pa sa jikina ko cheji cheshor to ko depth so martini charapat so la sama tingoni ma pendo chungu yora ote ta chipari namba sanchi pichule atendire.
So today I was invited by Geshe Ranrig. I don't know if you know him. I was invited to come to this group here that's called Shide, so that I could talk about this book from His Holiness the Dalai Lama called The Key to the Middle Way. And just like it said in the praise to Dependent Arising by Lama Tsongkhapa, he says that from all the actions of a Buddha, the action of speech is the most precious, the most beneficial to us. And that's the case because also we didn't have the opportunity to meet the Buddha Shakyamuni in person. We didn't get the benefit of his body, so to speak. But we still have the teachings of the Buddha. And likewise with all the other scholars, such as, for example, also His Holiness and all the great masters, here in the Praise to Dependent Arising, Lama Tsongkhapa, he tells us that it's the speech that is going to give us the benefit. So therefore, it's for example, the text, the book that they write, that's what we need to pay attention to, not just meeting their bodies, but also to studying the words they are telling us and to understand what do they want to tell us.
So that ngata yung terang kandang ka song chuno andan darawa tawi dem omi dem sere ta omi dem ze onde omata tanda tomba ni kle jani te tomba ni topi tablam dal gocha dem kama de tandare ze ore tandi chopcha ta su ta tomba ni ko kornro gore.
So today we are studying this book that's called The Key to the Middle Way. So Middle Way, His Holiness is talking about emptiness, this concept of emptiness in Buddhist philosophy. And the key to the middle way, the key here is indicating that he's giving us a method, a way to open this door, so that we can also open this door of emptiness and understand it.
Masoni, ata tomba ni korshio di namba sanji bishu na la katina tomba ni zeni mombo so son de gore. Ta tomba ni zeata tnichi mombo shi go vikem center ta karresena. Ta tomba
And in the Buddhist philosophical schools and always in every Buddhist circle, they're always repeating emptiness, emptiness, emptiness. They're always using this word. And why do they make such a big fuss out of this concept, out of this thing called emptiness?
Tang yonsatsu nrota tangaso jiktendi kamla kangi mombo chikta samale de du mombo chi yore ti kable sangi chorden di tel tayon di tanga sol kiega nanchezeni kanga checho chi chongdus.
So the one of the main things when Buddha Shakyamuni he came to this earth, he saw that there was a lot of suffering in our existence, also a lot of happiness and many sufferings. And when he was analyzing, when he was investigating what is this suffering, he saw that the greatest suffering, the biggest suffering that we have is the fact that we are born, we age, we get sick, and we die.
Andro ajit canal, Nandro some da dendro some dendro ajit canal, Legajon, me pancora diamne Jean Tunimeti Jean Gashoni, Zomba Zonkan, Zapata, and Rochit, the same gentle Zotini de Anton Yoris.
And he saw that the reality of our existence, do you know the 6 realms of beings? The animal, yes, hell beings, etc. He saw that the reality of our existence is that without any independence, not mattering what we want, what we don't want, we are constantly being reborn in one of these 6 bodies, and we are being born, aging, getting sick, and dying, just like in a prison. We don't have any independence on how we are going to be born, if we are going to age, if we die or not, etc.
Tani tat tenji ke ga na chi ko wa tali tarwi tablam chi yo ta me wa ta sanji korong ge jagar ka tani transform mombo sal tani tarya tablam yo rezini ke ja tenjo di transform to so go ko so le tenji ge tarwa ga tablam ta to ni chu chi to ya me zini tenji son len ja res.
And then Buddha Shakyamuni, he went in ancient India. He went to many different masters. He went to many different yogis, and he went to them and he asked, "Oh, is there a way for us not to be born, not to age, not to get sick, and not to die?" And many of these masters, they replied, "No, there is no way to be free from these natural sufferings."
So tani sanji shakya to ba korong ge logica ke pala so patni nyam ne chini koro ransto ka tanda ke ga na chi li tarwi ge tarlam ta tani koro rang nye ni tani sanji wa tani res.
And then Buddha Shakyamuni went on his adventure, so to say, and then he is said to have found this method by which we can actually be free from these sufferings of birth, aging, sickness, and death. And then he was a Buddha, yeah, the awakened one.
So tani ta tabla mia ta kanji rendu ziti ta ko ma tombo ko dingar yon ton da zacho tanzi na jimji chewi kabla kar chewo reziti nga so rawa me pandinji go kanga mombo ching na le tsde ya te leze ya ti ngwani chongdusi lege jablo kar se na chadon la so pe nyomondusi tani ya ti sona ti bugmal tanda danza maru pazenita buma ngoma tingro sa te tani chiri tani go ma wanger chini tani ko ankor devi ores.
And how did he find this method to be free from these natural sufferings of birth, aging, sickness, and death? He was analyzing, he was investigating what is suffering, how does suffering come about. And then he saw that we don't have any control, any independence on how we experience suffering, and what is in control of all of these things, what is controlling our experience of suffering. He saw it to be karma, what is said to be karma. So depending on karma, we are experiencing these sufferings. And how are we accumulating karma in this existence? We are accumulating karma because we have these negative thoughts or afflictions, negative emotions. And he investigating where does all of these things come from. He went even further, and he talked about this ignorance that is called self-grasping as the source of all of these afflictions, all of these negative, distorted thoughts that produce the karma, that produce the suffering of birth, aging, sickness, and death.
So tati sanji shakya ta pa son denjikti ko pa po kelen ke chulik taman rawa chi renjikti ko pa po so tsama so de kar chi chona koncho ko zon yore ta koncho thini pa ro ta tenji che ni cha cho pa ta tenji che na tani kangali tawa ta shi chi ro ma to te ma to ta shi yo mares ta da cha ko tomba ko son na tenji je mandus so sem go savlo ta tong go non chi shor ni tsawa ni ma shor ni kang te yon de ndu so sem go tan da non chi te ya chu top son na de li tarwa ta shi chi ndus.
And there are many religions that have explored this reality of suffering in this planet. And many of these religions, for example, there are some that believe in a God, not only a God, but a creator God. So they can believe that every happiness and suffering in this life is created by God. So the method that they have to be free from suffering is to pray for God, to request so that He clears away, He eliminates all our problems and sufferings. And that is one method. But Buddha Shakyamuni, he said it's not exactly like that. It's not like that. It's because you have a mistaken mind. There is a mistake in your mind. You're making a mistake. And if you are able to correct this mistake, then your mind is not going to produce all of these sufferings.
Dan non chi showa te kanri gong go re zedi dan da leli chadang li le ke chadang go bu ma lo dang ze de ya tendu ta dang ze ya te ma ka she me pa zo tu son na tini ma dang zeng ga pa le tini nyomong ga ni leng ga ni kwang kwa ka ne chang ma sen ro ndus son za ta dang ze me pa zo go kar tap shin du zedi dang ze me pa zo ka te tomba ni to bi shi ra re ndus son za na chu na le ta nyomon bazina kanga me pa so tabla yona me na ta tomba ni topi jira wen so tomba ni topi jira zeni chimbo chikle atendire.
And what is this mistake in our minds? What is this mistaken mind that's causing all of these problems? Then he says it's this self-grasping. So having the self-grasping, and because of this, on top of this, we create the mistaken minds also of attachment, grasping, anger, hatred, and on top of these mistaken minds of attachment and anger, we accumulate all of these karmas that spin us in this round of samsara, creating the sufferings of birth, aging, sickness, and death. So what is the method that he found to clear away all of these sufferings, to break this chain, was to correct this self-grasping mind. And that's where we talk about the wisdom of selflessness, or the wisdom of emptiness. So the wisdom of emptiness is what is going to cut away the self-grasping, which is the root cause of attachment and anger and karma and suffering.
Tatani ingona ta Joa Nipan Raw the Carrier Resita, Tani, Tomba Nit Topi Shirab Zea, the country Zeoriti, Kate Chagoa, Nontrishos, Danza Zea, the Gacha Monzea, Gacha Zea, the two countries La Worizina, that Joa Nipatere.
And then the second question that we come to is, okay, so where does all these sufferings come from? And then we get to self-grasping and the wisdom of selflessness, right? So no self. And then the second question that's important to come is, okay, but what exactly are we trying to negate? What are we saying that doesn't exist when we say there is no self? What is the self that doesn't exist?
So the on the Tanda Danza Zea, the Tawani non-triction can only blow Chanchalo, non-triction can only blow Nazo, nor Saturday Kigore, Tomba Topi Shirab Zea, the non-triction can blow the Chadeore, then non-trick the Sevala, non-tricash or so, and party Nordroya, Nengaro, Garchandro, and one's son, any blow tanda non-tricio at Hako.
Because we have this mistaken mind, we are seeing things in a mistaken, wrong way, and if we have to cultivate, to give rise to this wisdom that sees that this mistaken way of seeing things is wrong, we need to be very clear about, okay, so what is our mistake? What is this appearance that doesn't exist?
So tani that indeed gacha zeat ngomazum barta tanda non-trishor sat hako marita gacha zetit gani cheshot shirita gacha zeat ta chutam.
So if we don't understand this object of negation, that's a term for, what is the self that doesn't exist? So if you don't understand exactly what is the object of negation, then it's very hard to know where are we going wrong, what are we seeing in a wrong way.
Then John the so tanda gachi dazini gacha zediat soson rawo chikichal saulotana pena ngata kanzan china pombo ta namshi ta so mayin ba tikila ngazini wangel ken rawo chipena motan rawo china mota tanke khalo an rawo ta yana gyankam china ko jarbon ra wanchan jadeni ransitam treni tindi chitanga so na jiblo le shar de gore.
So if we take ourselves as an example, okay, so if I take myself as an example, so the object of negation here, if we see the way that we perceive this I, so when I think of I'm thinking of something that's different from my body, even different from my mind. It's something that is controlling all of this, something like a driver. I'm in the driver's seat and I am driving this body that is the car and this mind, and I'm controlling it. But I exist. Apart from this, there is this I that can stand by itself. Even if you remove the body, if you remove the mind, it still seems that there is an I that I can't separate from all of this.
Tanda kartani tala pena mota kalo anda ochina tanda mandrasa anda chingazia to pombo li katrata meagu pombo na la wanjelke ransing chiteni tandi chisharte gore pena ngota la pata kambata tso kayo mai na sama chitin zupolo wanjer nyechita masachkina sharte gore tandi ngandro chi yore ta yo mare si ondi tanda gachi da meze ate te patsi sona tandi dochi japan gona tandi chigrete yo mare se gore.
So it's this appearance to put it in this way. That's one way of talking about this appearance that there is a driver seated driving this car. That is not this driver, which is the I. We cannot say that is the I. I mean this I here on my head. It's not the head. It's not the nose. It's not the mouth. It's not my blood. Not my bones, etc. But still, there is something driving all of this. There is something controlling all of this. And is there actually something controlling apart from what's being controlled, which is the body and the mind? No, we cannot really find anything apart from this.
So tate di quartal kumdang gata jar mo chigndi nal umarichin chawi launch jandu kyo samen chimai mem lom nam kam nafshi mai kamna television bi kyo kanzini launch jayore tate nab yanga so kanza dame zete at tengore tig dame pa tanda tinji jansu tapi das me pa te kanji jogore zina so chengo kam chig la takpa chini te me pa te jog de gore kam chig go ni tanda sa ta chata me ta long la so pani kam re ni tiona ta dakhnya me at shigore.
And here when in the book when His Holiness talks about this how we cannot find this I, this driver, he gives a quote from Nagarjuna, the ancient Indian philosopher Nagarjuna, from the book Precious Garland, which he says, so this person is not the earth element. That's the way they used to talk about the body. It's not the earth element, which is our bones, etc. It's not the water element, for example, blood. It's not the fire element. It's not the wind element. It's not the space element. It's not this consciousness, this minds, all these minds. It's not the I. All of this is not this. And apart from this, what else can we find?
Tatanji o ten kam chik re ni so go ta jek ta ki keshi tanda gira na jendere ma zi yon ayina nga zini zigu tu sa sa wa ni ra ka yo mari nga na ji nga zini so gon join ken tin ke chawa chen ke tsama chi yore te tanda mo cha tan ke na jin ji to pombo lo wa jen ke tin chi yo na sha de o ta re zi so na ra ka yo mari.
So if we think about this driver, okay, this person that is controlling all of these things, and then we close our eyes and we try to find where is it. So we look at all these earth elements, parts of our body. We look at the water elements, at the fire elements, every part of our body, and we cannot find anything that corresponds to this driver, this controller, that's separate from all of these aggregates or this body.
Tati nani namshi zedeat nambi chumta mombo chika ngazi sat namshi inzini tanji che ore tanda.
When we talk about consciousness, the mind is a little bit harder, and many philosophical schools, even inside Buddhism, they're going to say the mind, the mental consciousness, that's the I.
La sa yana shipa te yang pap se onde wambu shipa la so muk shipa na shipa na shi la so pa mombo tantani yek shipa le sana tsukpa zai ka ku ki shipa ta chawba ke ka ku ki shipa yana nga cho ta shim cho ta yana karcha ni ma tsini jibcha tsina navshi tinala nga zini sa chi ra yo maris.
But if we think about the mind or about this conscious experience, in Buddhism we talk about the sense consciousnesses. For example, the eye consciousness, the ear consciousness, it's hard to say this word, consciousness, the nose consciousness, etc. So none of this seems to be the I. So we think usually about the mental consciousness. So the mental consciousness, if you analyze, if you investigate, sometimes there is angry consciousness. I don't know why it's so hard today. And sometimes we have an attachment consciousness, sometimes a loving consciousness, sometimes a happy, sad. So there are many different expressions. And also, if we think, okay, so where is this driver? Where is the I? If we also look at the many different moments of minds, I'm going to use the word minds, okay, because it's easier to say. If we look at 1 second, another second, 1 minute, there are so many different minds, and we cannot pinpoint, okay, so here I found this driver, I found the I here. We cannot find it neither.
So tani jipchani ma pombo re tang kam dat so ma dagzea de psion di pam zu zu sona tanda moja kalwa tawi na ri gerbo tawi na ran skin ji nga zia zu zu sa zu kyuni marani pa pombo chashi mombo chi tsindiwa la teni korong nga zia chi cha chen ki ni pan chi le yong go re mong pa si sona nya kyuni yo mares.
So if we do this investigation of trying to pinpoint, of trying to point at this driver, at this I, if we look at all of the parts of the body, the head, everything, if we look at all of the different parts of the mind, every moment of the mind, every expression of the mind, there is nothing that we can ever pinpoint and say, okay, I found the driver, I found who is controlling this body, etc. But we can see that depending on all of these parts of the body and mind, relying upon all of these things, there is something that we say, okay, this is I. Depending on this, we impute, we make an imputation that this is the I. Depending on all of these body parts and mental parts, I can impute an I.
Las tandi nga so nabjeng so chi nga zeni ta tsiktum jedenya la papsi sona merni pa tandi tsiktub yo pa sharde ya tel kanza ko ta garcha se ore tandi chi papsi ni zawa tingni lolen char log tsini tar tingni tsini ta tandi merni pa sora ngol ya po ta chi klepto na tel tomba ni topi shirab se tandi chi lu jayo ore.
So as you are investigating, where is this driver, where is this person, this I that is controlling everything, that is controlling everything, and you get this feeling that you cannot find anything. And then you start get this feeling that you cannot find it, and you start to have this strong feeling that there is nothing there. You're not going to find it if you look for it, and this becomes this wisdom of emptiness, this wisdom realizing no self.
So tanda tel tatinji zamba imba tandi na le komdang tandi pe garnu pe na so tagrimbo le zikchin thong kabla zik ta pan thong di tagrimbo ni yapo man thong na ta nyeri pa cha on di ko sabon thong gres mugje ze ya chi ur mugje ta tagrambo thong di chat na jin ji thong gre di pa ta nyeri char sona zama ze kya chat khya yo maris te na je nga so na bje dag zeni shu chi rancing jendeni sakan le tu mgonge kyachu chanchi yona sharde on de chachi re ni tsi kerson di kyoni recommendwas marawa ta zamba imba ta tomba imba ta ti hakores.
For example, one example that His Holiness the Dalai Lama uses in the book is where we have this idea that there is an independent I. There is actually an I existing that is self-supporting. It doesn't need to depend on other things. It controls all of these other things, but still it can exist without depending on these things. It's just controlling them. And when we try to find it, he gives an example, just like when we see something very far away. Okay, we see something very far away, and how do we know if this thing actually exists? This thing that we are seeing very far away. We go closer there. We go walking, we get close, and then we see, okay, there is something here. There is a cup. But there are some things, for example, a mirage when you're in the desert. Yes, from far away, you see this beautiful lake, this water, and you think, oh, let's see if there's water there. You go walking and you cannot find anything. So in the similar way, when we try to find this driver, this I, it seems to exist when we don't look for it, but we go and try to point at it and we cannot find anything, just like a mirage.
So teni namsha gendala ngazu takishia namjeri ngazi so ngazi ni tawa chembo jishade ore chadant so kesa ngali ching mandrik sani tsikpaza ore ngali yapoche son chakpa ke ore ngata ching ngali kyabarzeren chato ke ore teni mombo ke wo son sa teni chato ke denge ngazi a tawa chembo te yo samso savlo mjib chatan sho zupo ngoni da parte ti chashi shata chala so pani ninda loan chimbala so patama ni tsini ta ngazia rakati te no shipata te so no ni ngazia chi nye andu tindi pa tsi sho ta tu sa lo len ja tangre.
And because we hold to the existence of this I, of this independent I, then we get a sense that this I that exists in this way is very important, very precious, something very big and important to our lives. And because of this, we 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 give rise to attachment. We need things to feed this I. We give rise to anger because someone says something that harms this I that's very important to us. And we also get jealous because yeah, the desires of this I are not being met. So all of these afflictions, they pop out of this illusion of believing in this I. So that's why the method to clear away all of these things is to go to the root of this mistaken view of the I.
Watandi ta tomba ni ko korla kipa chestandro tendire ketane tel tez rapandro sagri da so chashi tsini ta marni bata ta yantini daksik top tit marni bata ndi tu chi khako sona kar yon rezeti ngaso navyen glo so nga zini shi chembon zeyat ma changro ore ngar gerta tanzan da so ma chang sona teletini yer da yer pashol tsina ya chibari so lutsia yom pashol tsibaza sa control za ta patsi sona.
So this is one of the ways of investigating it and investigating the I and talking about emptiness. This is one way, and there are more subtle ways to investigate this, but relying on this sort of investigation and getting used to this sort of investigation, there are a lot of benefits that come out of this. For example, if we are questioning the existence of this I in this way, trying to find it and not finding it, if we're questioning the existence of this, then all of these emotions that only appear because of our belief in this I, they only appear because of holding our I in such a strong, powerful, a solid way. All of them, they start to go down. So anger is going to start to go down because when we get angry, we think, okay, so this person, that is a very bad person, did something very bad to me and I was harmed. But if you have the habit of and the understanding that the person that did something harmful to you, this person, if you try to look for it, you cannot find this person. Where is this person? If you look at yourself, you can also not find this I that was harmed. So this through this investigation, you can start to dissolve the anger and many other emotions. There is this benefit.
Last tani tanda soso ngol tsinaera pa so ngol tsinaera ngoni soso semtani tsoro ngoni pa tsiona parshi tsamata pa ke mombo chingdini tandi ni pa chikle yon chik mato security pa tsisona nzu sa chakam me sa njana jinda yon dan njana jinda chipe kan jazu jatso yo rimbo zere jashare amna rimbo zera en temana tanda mugyen na chikbar pa taimodi puki chadiga na jigde gore ta pa tsismondi chakan rayo mar nga so tian pa tsismondi nzu sa kyoni marawa pa ta dina temje ngon ta tsama yo de atandi chire de ore
Jashani
jaziat te chunna kanra mra chin nam kala sha yo ja te pa tana chingdo pa sona yen ro gro tangar choi pa tsis pa tana miziat ton de yora de korin de ngarin de jalarin de chotseri tsama ton de gore ta pa riri chashi tsismondi tsama landro me pa
so then for example, if we are used to this view, also when we look at ourselves, when we investigate our own reality, and when we investigate the reality of the other person, either the object of our attachment, craving, or anger, jealousy, etc. If we are used to this sort of investigation, then we're going to see all of the causes and conditions that are playing out for this experience, for this reality to come about. So it's not an independent being being angry or harming us. We see everything in this context of the dependent arising. So only existing because of these causes and conditions. And when you try to find it, you cannot find it.
Lasa tani pa ta de na yo den ki ro ti song na mani pa tan ji chi le on di te thong la den ban ro den zhong zhong thong go re te to la zamba yin ba te ge ran cho yong go re tan ji zamba ro chin chong na lo len ge wa shi chen bo chi le go re pe ja wa yin na nga so la ser do to chi yo pa chi te za wa chen bo shu chi chi ni pu ki ja ta re so la te shu za wa chen bo cha re yana yang ni ma chi zi on di te ser men ne ser zamba yin ge ko song ne teni zong di ko te charge chi ya me ya chang ro re te na je so ya na je so samsar na je so zi song di mara wa chi ha ko ti na je ngo sam lo te lin ge ni di sam lo ka chi le yong re ze wo re
So when we do this investigation of seeing if this person actually exists, this when we were talking about the object of negation, or this driver, this I, if it actually exists, and we cannot find it before, we are still perceiving this I, still appears to our senses, it still appears to our mind. But the difference is, the more you get used to it, the more you habituate yourself, then what before you used to take as being true, taking it as being reality, that this I exists in this way in the other person or in yourself, now you start to get more used to seeing this as a lie, or as fake, as being fake. There is, I perceive, it appears to me, this I, but I know it's fake. And then a very big change occurs in your mind. For example, when we have a lot of gold, someone gave us a lot of jewelry, a lot of gold, or a lot of money, and we think, oh, that's true, it's a real gold. Then we get very attached to it. We think, oh, there is actually these qualities from the side of this object, so they're very good. But then someone tells us, oh no, this is fake gold. This is not real gold. It's just it's not real gold. Then instantly we are not attached anymore to it, and instantly we know, okay, this is fake. This is not reality. I cannot. Yeah, it's not real.
So tani tanda tomba ni zia tanga so ka ndri ma she dere mang tonda ya po ha ko marte ya po chi ha kon sone tanda sermoni chi la tombo sa wa chimbo chi ni tani zamba tong na je tani gin jawa sem yo ro bo re sem tani jawa ro ondi tanda dangzan zia me pa cha yong ko re sem dangzan go lo sho la denzan zia me pa cha ni demba me pa tomba ni top lo ti ke ngore te ke ondi dangzan go ma cha so nyo mo so cha mo to cha yong go re.
So this, we talk about
tanda ngoni tomba ni ku lo ti ke so na tanda dangzan zia dakta chapa zia ta zamba yin ba ngon zhen ro ra o tini tomba ni ku lo ki on di dangzan ku lo me chang ro me pa chang ro ra dangzan ku lo me pa cha so na dangzan ge cha dang ta so man chi ge yo re ze ora o ta so man ga yo re ta tini tomba ni to so na pen do ka re yo re ti ka cha tre.
Yeah, so if we are able to realize emptiness, then this goes completely against, so the selflessness goes completely against this self-grasping mind, grasping at the reality of the self. And if we don't have this self-grasping, also there is no basis for us to have attachment or anger or jealousy, etc. So then this wisdom eliminates all of the other afflictions.
Afshe yang shin ro re tanda gacha zia ta chang ke chen bo re te kertong ni tomba ni zia ta sang ye ya song yo re ma sam chom mi shiro par che zini ko so to chama che to sang ke china pa shi go na ra cho ka po tin ji yo re ze ora ma so nyam nyam shra me sal te li ra che to ma te counter so nyam nyam go ni pa so psina re chala psina re chashi le psini ji down da ko stien di tanda jamban ro china misin ro china a so lo tang ke mi cha cha mong bo chin zo mong di ko lo tang ke ni pa chi le yong re ma ge de ti no lo tang ya zia to ka cha zi kyo ni yo ma ta nga so chi pa cha cha da tong di ti no shi lo tang cho ko ro chi yo na sha de wo ri te cha chi mong bo chin di ni ta ni pa chi le a te sa re tin ri sho mong bo cha la yin na re so yin na re tin ri mong bo la ta ke ta ni so go nyam yo sa ta te kali tingo le nyam yo chi le ni tomba ni ko lo che to re mo ka ti shi chi shi a ta chi ta si chi ni ji ta tin ri na tanda ta ha ko to ya tin ri li la po chi ni sa ma re.
Yeah, so then talking about emptiness, this object of negation, identifying this is extremely important. Finding this object of negation, what are we saying that doesn't exist? And this Buddha Shakyamuni, he talked a lot about emptiness in the Prajnaparamita sutras, the sutras of the perfection of wisdom. And it said, I think there, or maybe somewhere else, that those who have this realization, those who have this experience, it's very hard for them to talk about this, to really convince us of this using words. So this is not something easy for us to find. We talk about this, we listen to explanations, but we have to investigate ourselves and try to have an experience for ourselves of what this means.
Asani, Tanji Woni Tombani Topishira Zeta Soso Gelatenda Dame Pata Zimbayimba Tanji Lo Narmata Kiona Tani, Telatini Tanda Danzan Zeat and Gandro, Danzan the Mena, Telatembi Chala Dawa Daniela Chapala so Patam Chotola so Pig, Yomonga Rutation over it, Yomonga Rutation, Yomongo Wangi Sapi, let me pachandori, let me pachasona Tandangazo Kekana Shila Sopa, John Consoma, Lely Ango Tacosa, Lemeti, Gemin and Jeremy Pandroana Jetini, Korat and Garni Tarbazi Atelian Leongore.
Okay, so the order. So because of this wisdom realizing selflessness, we are able to eliminate the self-grasping. Because we don't have the self-grasping, then the attachment and anger that is usually born because in relationship to I, so the people that are close to me, that help me or that I like, or the people that I don't like, that harm me, etc., they're all based on the I. So because you don't have the self-grasping, also you're not going to have any reason to have attachment or anger, jealousy, etc. Because you don't have any of these mistaken minds, you're also not going to accumulate karma. That's what it said. And because you're not accumulating karma, you're not going to experience sufferings, including birth, aging, sickness, and death. And when you're free from this suffering of birth, aging, sickness, and death, then you are free from this prison of samsara. So that's the basically the order of how things should happen.
So, Tendici dita, Tomal Kual Kortung Rambata Tendici eteni, Tatia Nimbo Yona Mena Tombani Topishira Sonsa, Tombani Topishira Lambasto Checoyata, Anchuga Ani Yon the Korajab de Tendice, Teni, Tamchen can be Combotovalaya, Teni, Tikal Jambang of Chancho Kasem Yamechena, Teni Tamchen can be Comboto Yungre.
So basically, this is how it was investigated, that we cycle in this existence, so in this samsara, and when analyzing whether there is or not an antidote, a medicine for us not to cycle in this samsara, then we talk about this wisdom of selflessness or emptiness. Yes, and then this is and then we can talk about nirvana, no, or the liberation from the cyclic existence. And there is also another part, so to say. So when we talk about the state of omniscience or Buddhahood, then not only emptiness, then we also talk about the mind of enlightenment or bodhicitta.
Also, Tani, Kanda Nato Nachu Nangazina, that's our Chena Yona Menata. Give Chungi Yablin Chowachina, Tombani Topishira Mena, Rico, Remongatarbata, Tapchemba Kanto, Gona, Tombani Topishira, the Hachan Kachimbo is on Satana, Yidang Lobion Yatingol, Nachulo John Chesam Yachina, Tingola, Shigagoya, Shigreti, Tachins, Trashia, Navjinga, Tombo Chashita, the Solipzini, so with Yedanganyam, Soundongola, Katsija, Totochita, only Johnny Tinyam, Tochically on, and also Soundlot and outside. Quinjava Petin Jonita, Pendochimbochi Younger Resinita, Kevatama Shetia, Tenji in the Ticor Sama Chiglo Jonchi Chena Yao, Sarisam Gudu,
Yes, so emptiness is very important in the Buddhist path. For those who know, I don't know who knows, there is a division of the Buddhist path in the person of small capacity, the person of middling capacity, and the person of great capacity. So the small capacity is focused on higher rebirth, etc. So here, the Buddhist path, the spiritual path, doesn't talk about emptiness. Emptiness is not a big doesn't play a role here. But when it talks about the person of middling capacity that is striving for nirvana or liberating from samsara, and the person from great capacity that's striving to become a Buddha, then emptiness is basically the main pillar. And this many different ancient masters have talked about this, about the importance of seeing this ultimate reality in order to be free from samsara and to achieve Buddhahood. So that's what it said in many ancient texts and by many ancient masters. So I think, for me, I think that's a good reason to try to study and understand always a bit more about it.
So that in the cheese come the get on check at the Sony Tisha Lason, Alatim, Tematom, Sigijam, the Tindriach.
So I think that's it. I think apart from this, I don't have anything special to say, anything else. Isn't that Joe?
That's a Joanna Chiona.
If anyone has any question or wants to ask anything, also online here. There's maybe a lot of information in the class. But yes, I do you have a question?
Maybe could you repeat the order again?
Of how things.
When you said it started with the emptiness and then.
Okay. 아니 그냥 이행규랑 고림디 숨투나 변하면서 동반이 또 비시라는 때네 아니 단징 세기래 아니 단징세네 아니 자동차단용을 사만이래 아니 딜한테네 양리 세기래 아니 딜한테네 양 동야 개가나치 양 세기래 이런 이행규랑 숨투나
단다테 양조치 코라치
이행규 코라디 간다스 좀 간다스 양을
Natsu Tonda Karajumnan, no trick shorsona, then no trick teleteni by no trick mambochik legura, Pena Chandra.
So basically, yeah, if we in this case, we made a mistake, and because of this mistake, then many other mistakes, we made a mistake here at the beginning, so then everything is based on a mistake. Yes?
Then no trick shorsa to shoot up sona, Tinijima, no trick to Somayoni. So
if we see that all of this is mistaken, there is a mistaken understanding of all of this, then we go down seeing where this mistake came from, and we come to here, and then if we are able to see, okay, this is mistaken, and this is the real way of seeing this, then all of this is not going to happen either.
Bena Chandra, you can go in Chanyopachi, Chatama, and Jason Gona, Timacha, Sama Yopacha, Kinyopanjia, Tizani, Sama Zoja, Sama.
For example, in a river, if we throw a lot of garbage or sewer when the river is just born, in the beginning of the river, then all of the river is going to be polluted. All of the river is going to be dirty. So we can clean the river from here onwards, but the best way is for us to clean the river here at the beginning. If we're not throwing garbage at the river here at the beginning, then all of the rest we don't need to even think so much about. It's going to be cleared away anyway.
Dancing the non sure someone to Hakondi, that needs to nurture the Cleon, let any Chatanyo Molas or Pakalinga, Talam Gio Residue.
Yeah, so when we look at things, at everything, the way that we perceive them is not in accordance to reality. So if we're able to change this, also every other mistake that we make because we're not perceiving things according to reality, like being attached to these things, or being angry at these things, or being jealous at these things, or being proud, all of this also is not going to happen. Yes, and then the order was self-grasping, afflictions, karma, and suffering.
Chardon that Tesum Dangaria Lasso Pire, Tini, somebody lazy at Kiwa Mombo Jenny, Kika Natural Sopa Jindro at Lake Hajargo Rezo.
Yeah, so because of this self-grasping, this ignorant self-grasping, then it comes attachment and anger. And because of attachment and anger, all of the other afflictions of jealousy, pride,
tani romo chik chisa mambo yore sapang korlo zya chi ti chi gu tala phakpa chik tang dru chik tang cha chik sam chani phakpa ti kana ni dru ta cha ni ta le ya chi chi yore ti karan chong phakpa zya ti maruk pa ta da dang zan de chong go cha ti ndo cha ta tang dru ti jer dang de chong go dang zan li do cha dang ni le go re ze or cha dang ni ge le sa ke re ze le ngo ko re se
so because of attachment and anger, all of the other afflictions are born, and because of this, we accumulate karma. And because we are accumulating karma, this karma is controlling us for us to have suffering and to be born, age, get sick, and die. That's the order. And also there is the circle of, I don't know the circle of existence or life. You know, there is a drawing, Buddhist drawing, there is a big monster, and there is samsara, yes? So there are three animals at the center. There is a pig, a snake, and a bird. And the bird represents attachment, the snake represents anger, and the pig represents ignorance. And the snake and the bird, they're coming out of the mouth of the pig. So what is this saying? It's saying that the pig here is self-grasping, is ignorance. Grasping at the self in a mistaken way, in this independent way. So because we have this, then we are attached to things, and then we get angry at things. And then because we have this attachment and anger, then all of the other afflictions happen. We accumulate negative karma, positive karma, and we have to keep living in this cyclic existence. That's basically the order. I'm going to see if we have the here we have yes, it's hard to put together.
Pedro,
Hi, Barry.
I think it's that is 12 link dependent originations.
Oh yes, there's the 12 links. Yes, the
Link dependent originations.
Yeah, here there are the 12 links of dependent arising, you know, in the circle. It starts with ignorance, and then consciousness, karma. It's
so much English
yeah, many things to explain in this drawing. Yes. So, any other question or no? Do you have any question, Barry? Yes, we showed here the 12 links of dependent origination. We have the tanka here in the wall. Yes.
Lasso. Yeah.
So, to Chiche Barry, maybe we live here.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's fine. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.